Hey there, hi, and welcome to another episode of Sit and Spin. I'm your host, Joe. With me, as always, this light white lump of mess over here, which is Norm the Wonder Mutt, the original Rocket Dog. And tonight, we're going to be talking about a great new rock documentary that just came out on DVD and Blu-ray this week. It's the story of a band called Death, and conveniently enough, that also happens to be the title of the documentary, a band called Death. As you can see from the tagline on the front here, it says, "Before there was punk, there was a band called Death." Formed out of Detroit, Michigan back in 1971 by the brothers Hackney, David, Bobby, and Dennis. The group originally went by the name of Rock, Fire, Funk Express until after seeing groups like The Who and Alice Cooper in concert, brother David decided that he wanted to lead the band in a more rock style. So on guitar with himself and along with his brothers on drums and bass, they decided to start making a harder rock and music, which was what we would call proto-punk, which basically means that it was punk before there was the term punk in music. So long before the Sex Pistols or the Ramones, Death was leading the charge. And even though they had a great idea and concept and an awesome sound that was way ahead of its time, with a name like Death, you can imagine, especially back then, they had a hard time getting signed or having anybody taking them seriously. So basically, they tried for quite a while to get a record deal and to kind of get themselves recorded. Finally found a little bit of investors to kind of get some recording going, and they were working on their debut album in 1975. It was going to be an album called For the Whole World to See. And they even had guys like Clive Davis from Columbia and Arista Records who was willing to sign them if they changed their name. But they weren't going for that. So their music went basically unheard of for over 30 years, with the exception of one self-released on their own Triangle Records, 45, limited to like 500 copies of their songs, Politicians in My Eyes, and this lovely track in the background called Keep On Knocking, just a killer track. And I don't want to spoil too much else of the story for you because it's a great story, but do yourself a favor, go out and pick this up on DVD or Blu-ray. Lots of cool special features on the Blu-ray that, and, you know, I gotta have it on Blu-ray myself. But if not, rent it on Netflix. Definitely check it out. It's an awesome story, great music, and as Hank Rollins, or Henry Rollins, says in the trailer, it's the kind of story that keeps you going back to the record store, and I couldn't have said it any better than that myself. So do yourself a favor, go out and check out a band called Death. Find their music if you can. It's really good. I don't want to tell you too much of the story aside from that because it's worth finding out for yourself. But thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you were checking out my good buddy Scott over at Righteous Vinyl and the guys over at Riff of the Day, Gino, Pete, and truck driver Sean, ever so occasionally me when I get around to it. And thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time on Sit and Spin.